Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Commodity TV here out of our studios in Munich. It's interview time and update time. And with me here is John Budreski, the Executive Chairman of EnWave Corporation out of Vancouver. You remember, John, we have interviewed him in January already in his offices, again in Vancouver. And yeah, the fantastic dehydration technology. And John wants to give us an update. John, welcome in Munich.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here on a sunny Friday in front of Oktoberfest.
Exactly. And we will have big fun tomorrow.
I'm sure we will.
For sure. Yeah, EnWave. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job, you and the team. It's really amazing to see your progress and your development. We spoke last time in January and it was already nice. And you promised us in that interview, as I remember so far, you will sell more machines, you will generate more royalty, of course. Yes. So it happened.
Yeah, it is happening. We're accelerating the business. In 2013, we sold 2 machines. In 2014, we sold 4. In 2015, we sold 5, then 7. This year to date, we sold 8. We'll probably sell 1 or 2 more before the end of the year. So the machine sales are accelerating quite nicely. Revenues are starting to build from the royalty portfolio, and we're doing just fine on machine sale revenues as well.
Fantastic. What was the revenue development so far? I mean, we have 3 quarters almost gone now.
Revenue so far to date was around close to $13 million.
That's a lot. What do you expect for the rest for the year?
Oh, I never want to predict the last quarter because it's very dependent upon what machines we're going to sell. Okay, we should be ahead of last year.
But you're adding. That's important. Yeah. Okay. Then that leads to the next question, of course. Break even positive for this year, next year profits for the company? Is that something you see reachable?
This year has been a year where we've been building a lot of machines and we record revenues on a percentage of completion basis. So we should be break even or cash flow positive this year. 3 quarters of the year we've been cash flow positive already. So we're feeling comfortable about that.
Super, perfect. Yeah. Let's talk about your latest patent because I was really, I must say, impressed when I read it in the press last week. Yeah. You can dry cannabis.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So how did you come on that? I mean, that's fantastic.
there's a bit of a story to that. So we've applied for a patent to dry cannabis. It's a 2-step procedure where the first step is a pasteurization step, and then the second step is to dry the material. But let's talk about what difference this makes for the cannabis industry. Currently, cannabis is air dried in a room. It has to be secure. It takes 4 to 6 days to dry that. Somewhere in the growth cycle or the drying cycle, you can get microbes, fungus, some bacteria. And so the cannabis user, this is for medical marijuana, does not want to inhale fungus or mold. And so they either are going to do that or the manufacturer will put the cannabis into an armored car, send it for sterilization. It comes back from sterilization. And then and the sterilization is radiation or some sort of electron beam, that sort of thing. So, and then some more testing and then it gets sold. That process takes about 2 weeks. And so for the cannabis grower, there's 2 weeks of process time. They're spending money for an armored car and sterilization. And for the cannabis consumer, they're either going to be consuming something that might have microbes or they're going to consume something that's not really all natural because it's been treated. And so we've applied for a patent for a process which will convert all of that to approximately 1 hour of rev drying.
So instead of, let's say, 10 to 15 days, it's 1 hour the process.
That's correct.
Gee, that saves, what saves that? 90% of the cost?
I don't know if it's 90%. It's hard to say. It's a material saving. It
must be massive.
It'll be a massive. They have to do other testing when they get it back. And so there's time and funds involved in that. But it's a material change because rather than taking your cannabis and putting it into a drying room and these things, they'll take the cannabis, they'll put it through our machine, and then they'll go on to the next step.
Wow. Perfect. Okay, now we have, let's say, the technological setup. You have applied for the patent. That's one thing. How fast can you start in a market after you have granted the patent? You have maybe the first cannabis farmers who say, oh, wow, that's interesting, the technology. Meaning, what can we expect time-wise? How fast can you do that?
Well, this is one of the really interesting parts of this business for us. Because in typical partner development for EnWave, the food companies develop new food products, and it takes time to create the formulation. They do some sampling with their own staff. They do sampling with panels. Then they start to do small market development, large market development. That takes sometimes years, several years to do. In the cannabis business, they can take our equipment, put it in their existing facility, turn it on, and start processing cannabis right away. There is no new recipe that has to be created. There's no market demand. The market demand is there for dried cannabis. We're just going to get it to them quicker and better. So where it might take us 2 years to go from meeting an operator to selling a machine and then another year to develop royalties, in the cannabis business, we can meet an operator, sell a machine within a year, and have that machine producing full royalties within that same year.
Wow.
So we've really compressed it.
Really
so we're optimistic that we can have cannabis drying equipment in the marketplace in the next several months.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great. And you have the capacity to build the machines?
Yes, we do.
It is a real big market. By the way, what is the market volume of cannabis?
Well,
what do you expect?
In the United States, I think in the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to be a $20 billion market. Globally, something like $50 billion by 2025.
That's a lot. I would love to have a 1% share of that.
I'd like to have a 1/4% share of that.
No, but it means to me like, okay, you have a super large market in front of you.
Yes.
But can you handle if 20 cannabis producers come to you and say, we want to have the EnWave machine?
Well, we have different size machines, and we have some of them in inventory. So we'll be able to supply some of that demand just by completing the last 10% of the machines that we have in inventory. We've built a number of large machines this year, and we can continue to build large machines. We could for the cannabis industry. If it turns much larger, we'll have to get some more warehouse space, some construction space, hire a few more people, and just put our orders up. We're easy to scale our business because we assemble parts, so we need a big room, and we need people who know how to use wrenches and screwdrivers.
Exactly.
And we can put things together. So scaling up is not a concern for us. If we had an order for 20 machines right today, we're going to have to work a bit to get that, but we can scale up quite quickly. So we're comfortable with that.
Great, good to hear that you are prepared on that.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk shortly about your, let's call it bread and butter business. For example, the Moon cheese is one thing, generating nice royalties, and let's say your other food processing businesses you have, because you are working now with a number of well-known companies like Bonduelle, for example, like Sutro, Gailey, whatever. I mean, how is it going there?
I think it's going very well. We started a few years ago to more aggressively pursue business opportunities, and that's paying off. Our backlog and our pipeline is as full as it's ever been. We put out press releases every time, not every time, most every time when we sign a contract for a research agreement or for a license agreement. All you have to do is look at our string of press releases, and that's happening at an ever-increasing rate. So some of the longer-term projects are progressing well, and we're capturing smaller new projects at an increasing rate. So we're very happy with how that business development is going.
Fantastic. So let's assume everything goes very well. Well, it does already, but it goes much more well. You make profits, you make money.
Yes.
What will you do with the money?
We will give it to the shareholders. Our business model is that the machine sales will pay for the cost of running EnWave. The royalty revenues will come in. They'll be surplus to our capital needs. We'll pay those to the shareholders in the form of a dividend. That's our plan.
Fantastic, great. And you have like, what do you have, like 91 million shares out right now, right?
That's correct, 91 million shares.
Yep. Okay, good. Wow, that's nice. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Any special plans for next year? Anything you want to achieve aggressively, or you have anything in the making you want to tell us?
The best way to describe our company is that we just work hard and we run hard and we try and do the best we can and try and do the most that we can. We cannot control the people that we do business with. They're big companies, they're small companies, they have capital constraints, they have processes they go through. And so we're a supplier to them, and our speed is dependent upon their speed. However, we know that our speed is dependent upon their speed, and what we do is we speak with as many people as we can, and we get as much business going on as we can, and we grow our business that way. So our objectives for next year will be the same in the year after as they were in this year and the year before, which is we're going to work really hard and get as many pieces of equipment out delivering royalties to us as we can.
Okay, get the pedal to the metal and the horsepower on the road.
Yes, sir. That's exactly it.
Then let's do that.
Okay.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you
for having you here, and look forward to the Oktoberfest.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was John Budreski, the executive chairman of EnWave Corporation out of Vancouver, and you heard it. Things are going very well. Companies generating great rising revenue stream and selling more machines. That's exactly how it should be. As you remember, watch the interview from January when John did some predictions here, and they totally fulfilled, and that's what we like, of course, companies which fulfill or do much better than they said, and that's exactly the case here. And I think with this cannabis patent, that's really a game changer. First of all, for the company, that's one thing, but on the other hand, it's a game changer in the production for medical marijuana because it will lower the cost significant, but also it will be on, let's call it a very clean, very healthy way. And that's exactly what those people need who has to be treated by medical marijuana. So check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Munich.